I ran a Google advertising campaign to promote my YouTube channel, and in just 20 days I almost trebled my subscribers, almost trebled my watch time, and more than trebled my channel views. In this video I'm going to explain what I did, how I did it, what happened, and whether or not it's a good idea to use Google Ads to promote your channel. And I'll be giving real figures and real life examples. Hi, I'm Elizabeth Hackford, I'm the Law of Attraction lady, and let me give you a bit of background before I get into this. I actually started my YouTube channel on the 2nd of July. I am a new YouTuber and I am posting weekly, nothing more, nothing less, and that's my commitment for the next year, one video per week. If you're a new YouTuber like me, you'll be very familiar with the initial exciting splash when you start uploading videos and all your friends and family support you and you get something like 500 views on your first video. But that interest quickly wanes and you start to see that most of your videos are getting anywhere between 50 and 100 views, sometimes much less than that. Like all new YouTubers, I'm anxious to increase my watch time hours and my subscribers so that I can reach the goal of monetization and start to earn money on my YouTube channel. I've been watching all those videos telling you what to do, how to promote your channel, what are the best ways to get views, what are the best way to engage your audience. I've been bombarded across social media by these self-acclaimed SEO gurus who tell me that they will promote my channel to increase views and watch time. And in fact, I thought, well, let's give one of these guys a try. So I paid $15 for him to promote one of my videos. And sure enough, that video went from about 100 views to 1,000 views almost overnight.
Bingo!
But when the analytics came through a couple of days later, I realized very quickly that those views were coming from places like India and Turkey. And the views were actually all happening within the space of an hour in the middle of the night.
Oh dear.
So I quickly realized that these were all fake views that this guru had set up by basically using multiple computers, multiple IP addresses, incognito windows to give the appearance that my channel was getting a lot of views.
Nice try.
But it was basically robots, fake views. So I quickly pulled the plug on that idea. Fake views are very bad for your channel. They get no engagement. There were no comments, there were no likes. Pretty appalling actually, but the view count did go up, so I suppose that was one good thing. Meanwhile, I kept seeing a video on YouTube suggesting that the best way to get to 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers was by advertising your channel on YouTube, by just simply placing the videos that you have created as display adverts in YouTube so that they get pushed to the top of the pile in suggested videos.
Are you sure?
And the more I looked into it, the more I thought this is actually quite appealing. Basically, this video said that for a budget of around $1,000, you could probably achieve 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours watch time if you promoted your channel using Google Ads. It sounded too good to be true, and I did wonder why aren't more people doing this, and I also wondered why I wasn't seeing more videos on this subject.
This smells a bit fishy to me.
But it did seem to be extremely appealing. The great thing about Google Ads is that you can really target your audience. You can choose the demographics, you can choose the countries that your audience comes from. You can really get very targeted. You can even target people who are watching other channels in your niche, and the list goes on. So I thought it would be a really good way to actually reach my target audience, because maybe the YouTube algorithm doesn't yet understand my target audience.
Oh, I see.
So if you're a new tuber, what you can do is you pick 3 or 4 of your best videos and you run a Google Ads campaign on YouTube, simply promoting those videos as they are. You don't need to make a special video to advertise the video, you just use the video as it is, but you put it up as a display advert. So this is not the kind of advert that people can skip. It's the kind of advert in the suggested videos. If you're using a desktop, that's on the right hand side of the monitor. If you're using an iPhone, it's underneath the monitor. That's where the suggested videos sit. So instead of waiting for the YouTube algorithm to fall in love with your videos and start promoting them at the top of the suggested videos list, you actually pay to put yourself at the top of the pile. It's a bit like paying for sex. What I loved about this method is that it was so simple and it required minimum effort. I did think it was too good to be true, but I thought, what the heck, let's give it a try. Let's dip my toe in the water. And so I allocated a budget of $300 to see what I could achieve using a Google advertising campaign. So I started my advertising campaign on the 29th of August 2021, and this is how my channel looked the day before I started the campaign. I had about 3,300 channel views, I had 148 hours watch time, and I had 130 subscribers. And my channel was getting about 80 to 90 views every 2 days. And these were the top locations of my audience. You'll notice Turkey and India feature here. That's because of what I did with the SEO SEO guru who promoted my one video using robots.
That video on its own had outstripped all the others put together.
So at first I decided to try out 5 of my favourite videos and see how well they did. The idea is you start with 3 or 4 videos, and after a few days you see which videos are performing the best, and then you limit the campaign to just the top 1 or 2 videos. And then I pressed go. Now it took about 24 hours before I started to see the results of my advertising campaign kick in, but suddenly my channel started to get over 100 views a day, and it was very exciting. Every hour I was getting views on one of these 5 videos that I was promoting, and some of that was spilling off into my other videos as well.
Fantastic.
And sure enough, I waited for 3 or 4 days, and after about 4 days I noticed that 2 of my videos were soaring in popularity compared to the other 3. So I paused the other 3 and put all of my budget so that my advertising campaign just focused purely on those 2 videos, and I just let it run. And as the advertising campaign ran, my views per day started going up to over 300 a day, which was basically 10 times what I'd been getting before the advertising campaign. It was really exciting. Meanwhile, my subscriptions were going up, and so were my watch hours. So for $300, I ran the campaign for 3 weeks, and after 20 days, this is how my figures looked. My channel views were at 10,600, my watch hours were 395, and my subs had grown to 333. Meanwhile, this was the new geography of my audience. A much rosier picture than before. And one more important thing, one of my biggest concerns was that my watch time per video would drop dramatically, people clicking on what was an advert and then clicking off too quickly. So I was really concerned about whether or not the engagement, how long people stayed on a video, whether that would drop dramatically. But this was not what happened at all. My average video view duration before the campaign was 2 minutes and 41 seconds. After the campaign, it did drop a little bit, but only a little. 2 minutes and 13 seconds. I was pretty happy with that. I mean, it's not great view duration, but it wasn't great in the first place. But it didn't drop dramatically, and that was really good to see. But what was really fantastic about this campaign was that all of the engagement was from my target audience. It drove up subscribers, it drove up views, but it also drove up engagement. I had so many likes now on my videos and much more comments. My top video went from just 64 views to 3,620. The likes went from 8 to 116, and the comments went from just 4 to 23. So for just $300, I thought I'd had a really good return on my investment, and I was actually really excited about the prospect of reaching monetization much more quickly than I could have done otherwise. Suddenly monetization seemed to be within reach. It was too good to be true. But then I made a very important and very disappointing discovery. Watch time hours generated by YouTube adverts do not qualify for the YouTube Partnership Program.
Denied.
I'll say that again. Watch time hours generated by YouTube ads do not qualify for the YouTube Partnership Program. In other words, all the watch time hours I gain from those adverts don't qualify towards the 4,000 hours you need for monetization.
Oops-a-daisy.
And that's why no one else is doing this.
Shaking my head.
So I found out the hard way, and I'm here to share my experience with you so that you won't make the same mistake that I did. But was it still worth it? Was this YouTube advertising campaign still worthwhile? Well, I think yes, as long as you go in with your eyes wide open. I'm delighted that I have almost trebled my subscribers, and it's the subscribers that in the future will be driving up the watch time. So now when I post a video, I'm getting more views because I have more subscribers. So YouTube is promoting it to more people, and that's not a bad thing. Do I regret what I've done? No, not at all. Would I do it again? Absolutely. I think I'll run another campaign at Christmas. Why not? In summary, I think a YouTube advertising campaign is a really good way to drive up your subscribers, and certainly for a new channel, if you're sitting at 100 subscribers and you want to get to 500, I think it's a great way to grow. But getting to 4,000 hours watch time, well, I'm afraid that is still a very, very long journey for all of us. And ultimately, as everybody says, the best thing you can do is just produce really good, engaging, interesting, compelling content. Now, if you want a little bit more more detail on how I actually did the advertising campaign and how I put it together and how I booked my Google ads, you can actually watch the video that I looked at myself, and I'll put a quick link to it at the top of the screen here. But I must stress, YouTube ads do not qualify for the YouTube partnership program. So all the watch time hours you gain from running YouTube ads will not qualify for your 4,000 hours watch time, in spite of what the person says on this video. You have been warned.